I will not vote for Hillary Clinton on the sole basis of her being a woman. Does that make me a bad feminist? That idea is what feminist writer Jessica Valenti proposes we all do in the upcoming presidential primary election on the Democratic side this year, because apparently representation matters much, much more than, the impact of actual policy on all women, not just white women. In her latest entry for her Women in Politics column for The Guardian, Jessica Valenti wrote a piece called Go Ahead and Vote for Hillary Clinton Because She's a Woman, where she postulates that Clinton is a much better candidate for women because she has the support of NARAL, PRO, and Planned Parenthood, and wants to repeal the Hyde Amendment. Not to mention, or to put too much emphasis on this, but guys, we finally have a chance to vote a woman as president of the United States. Come on, son. Valenti also comments that Clinton has been receiving criticism and scorn from supporters of her main primary opponent, Bernie Sanders, for using the gender card to appeal more to women voters, and that the basis of said critique and scorn is sexism, which, I mean, that really wouldn't surprise me because, anti-feminism and misogyny, those aren't solely the provinces of, right-wingers and conservatives and libertarians. But that doesn't mean that voting for Hillary Clinton just for representation's sake, or because, Planned Parenthood backs her, that doesn't mean voting for Hillary Clinton is still a good idea. This position that Jessica Valenti takes, it can't be justified just because of sexism within liberal and progressive politics, or under this banner of lean in feminism or whatever. There are important reasons why voting for Hillary isn't in the best interests of all women. Like, let's see, her doublespeak on, single payer healthcare, while being for it at one time. I wonder if her stance has changed because of the BS that she was put through when, her husband was president, as well as because of all the money she's received in speaking fees from healthcare companies. Her support for teen abstinence and her stance on abortion. While she does say that she wants it safe and legal, she also adds that she wants it to be rare, which that denotes some personal bias, which does have the potential to show itself in any legislation that she may pass in that regard. Her corporatism via all the money she's received in, speaking fees from big banks as well. Her voting record on personal bankruptcy, Common Core education, not being for tuition-free colleges across the board, $12 minimum wage instead of $15 minimum wage. Especially, her stance regarding welfare reform, which negatively impacted poor people of color, forcing them deeper into poverty with no means of getting assistance and no access to jobs. And, and also her stance on, more policing and harsher sentencing and stuff, especially, back when she was a New York senator. So for those reasons alone, I'm very doubtful that Hillary would get my vote for president. Not because she's a woman, but because her leanings, her positions, and her vote record clearly show that overall it would not serve my best interests to vote for her. So to argue that I, as a working class black woman, should vote for Hillary Clinton just because she's a woman And just because she has the support of Planned Parenthood is not only short-sighted of Jessica Valenti, but it's also dangerous. Now, women's rights and equality is a very important issue to me. It's a very important core issue to me. But it's not the only issue that I take into account when considering a candidate to get behind. And since we don't live single issue lives, voting for a candidate on just a single issue and not taking in the entirety or at least a majority of their platform into consideration before casting a vote, that's not voting smart. It's the reason why this country is in the friggin' state that it's in now, with people voting on single issues only to realize that the people that they put into office, if they actually realize it, are acting in the best interests of the corporations and organizations who gave them lots of money for their campaign, not in the interests of their constituents. Scott Walker, the enormous number of congresspeople who voted against gun reform because the NRA contributes to their political campaigns, the Flint water crisis, any of this getting through. It's disappointing to see this tactic that's mostly utilized by, the right wing, right? It's disappointing to see this tactic being suggested by someone on the left like Valenti. And it proves yet again that right-wingers aren't the arbiters of tone-deaf, nuance lacking, and dishonest tactics and measures.